Hey guys, it's Dalmatian Productions here bringing you guys another video. Now this is going to be another remake of my childhood in the 2010s. So for anybody who's wondering, the remake video that I did, I have accidentally moved the camera away from my face. So I'm actually going to just do another remake. So I'm going to be talking about my childhood in the 2010s, what stuff that I grew up with, what retailers that I went to as a kid and stuff like that. So I'm going to start off with the games that I grew up with in the 2010s. So the games that I used to play as a kid in the 2010s on the internet was Webkinz and Animal Jam. Now, for anybody who's wondering, I quit Webkinz in 2018, and about a year later in 2019, I left Animal Jam. So, as for shows, the shows that I grew up watching in the 2010s were Regular Show, Adventure Time, The Amazing World of Gumball, and for Nickelodeon, the shows I watched on Nickelodeon as a kid were SpongeBob SquarePants, Fairly Odd Parents, iCarly, Victorious, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and the 2012 series, I should say, and the other shows that were on Nickelodeon at the time. And as for retail, I mentioned this so many times already. So for retail, the retailers that I grew up with in the 2010s were Kmart, Sears, Herberger's, JCPenney's, Target, Best Buy, Walmart, and Sears unfortunately closed in 2017. My childhood Sears closed in 2017. And unfortunately my childhood Kmart closed a few months ago in July of 2020. So, and the malls that I grew up with in the 2010s was obviously Dakota Square Mall. I will put a link in the description after this video of the Dakota Square Mall. And you guys probably know I grew up with Dakota Square Mall as a kid in the 2010s. As for toys, I used to own a lot of construction toys as a kid in the 2010s. I had a lot of construction toys. They were based on construction companies like Bobcat, John Deere, Caterpillar, and all those construction companies that pretty much were based on those toys. So, and the other toys that I pretty much played with as a kid were Webkinz plushies and Littlest Pet Shop. And what's interesting is I used to buy a lot of toys at Kmart as a kid, and I used to buy a lot of toys from Walmart as a kid. And as for movies, I forgot to mention this. I forgot to mention this in the first video I did. I did mention it in the other remake, but I'm doing another remake now. So the movies I watched were Cars 2. I'm pretty sure a lot of people probably don't remember Cars 2, because Cars 2 isn't really a well-remembered movie. Cars 2 was a film that was produced by Pixar Animation Studios that was released in the summer of 2011, so that was around June of 2011. And then I watched Brave as a kid in the 2010s. That came out in 2012. And there's a lot of films I saw in the theater as a kid, which I'm not going to mention in this video. But overall, my favorite animated film to date is Zootopia. I'm pretty sure not many people know this, but I actually saw Zootopia when it came out in the theater. There was a lot of films I saw when they came out. And pretty much that, Zootopia was one of my all-time favorite Disney movies of all time. And then we had Wreck-It Ralph 2, which pretty much came out about a few years ago. It came out in 2018, and I actually saw that movie when it was first released in theaters. And then I did watch Wreck-It Ralph, the first movie, and Wreck-It Ralph at the time it came out was actually one of my all-time favorite Disney movies. And then as soon as Zootopia came out, it became one of my all-time favorites Disney movies. So I will actually mention this in another video at another time, but for now, I'm just gonna be done talking about this. And as for video games on consoles, this is not video games on the internet. This is for on consoles. So the video games that I played as a kid in the 2010s were Wall-E. I'm not sure if anybody knows that game, but that was a game that was developed by a few different developers. We had Heavy Iron Studios develop the Wii version, the PS3 version. I don't know if they developed the other version, but they. All I know is they developed the Wii version and the PS3 version. Asobo Studio developed the PS2 version and the PSP version. And there was also an Xbox version, which I kind of forgot to mention that in the other remake video. So, Heavy Iron Studios did develop the Xbox 360 version. And the Xbox 360, if you guys didn't know, was a really huge console back in the day. And a lot of people really enjoyed the Xbox 360. And, you know, a lot of games came out on the 360 for some reason. So, but Asobo Studio developed the PS2 version, the PSP version, and the PC version. Helix, on the other hand, developed the DS version, and the DS version really isn't the well-remembered one because not many people like the DS version because it wasn't really a storytelling thing. Another game that I used to play as a kid was the Dog Island. I'm not sure if anybody remembers the Dog Island. The Dog Island, it came out around 2007, 2008. And it was developed by the same developers who developed the Pets series for the Wii and PS2. And the Dog Island came out on the Wii version and the PlayStation 2. Now, I found out that the Wii version is a lot easier because it has a cursor on the screen. The PS2 version, unfortunately, does not have a cursor on the screen, so it's a free run. In the PS2, I found out that the PS2 version of the Dog Island is a little bit more difficult, so that's why I'm just glad we didn't own a PS2. And for pets, another game I used to play as a kid was the Pets series, Pets Cats 2 and Pets Dogs 2. Now, Pets Cats 2 and Pets Dogs 2 were games that were released on the Wii and the PS2. Now, again, like the Dog Island, the Wii version is a little bit more easier because you have a cursor on the screen. Now, the PS2 version, you don't have a cursor on the screen, which means it's free play. So, it's kind of annoying for PS2 people that owned those games at the time. And now for the Nintendo DS. So, the Nintendo DS, if you guys don't know, years ago, I used to own a Nintendo DS. And I used it around 2014, because the reason I don't own a DS anymore is because, as you guys probably know, my charging port broke on it, and unfortunately I kept using my sister's DS, but her R button was broken, so I couldn't pretty much use it. And for DS games, I used to play the Mario Kart DS. Now, Mario Kart DS was actually one of my all-time favorite DS games. Now, if you guys don't know what Mario Kart DS is, Mario Kart DS was a debut game for the Nintendo DS. And it was released in 2005. And for anybody who's wondering, I was super duper good with the DS version of Mario Kart. And I kind of sucked at the Wii version. If you guys didn't know, I used to play the Wii version of Mario Kart. And that game, I really sucked at that because it required a fucking steering wheel. And that was so annoying. And then I later played Mario Kart 8, which was another game I was good at. And which I am not going to mention in this video at all. And another DS game that I used to play as a kid was New Super Mario Bros. DS. If you guys don't know, New Super Mario Bros. DS was released in 2006, and that game was kind of weird because I didn't like the DS version. I pretty much preferred the Wii version of the game, but which came out around 2009. I used to play New Super Mario Bros. Wii as a kid as well. And for another game that I used to play on the DS was Mario and Luigi's Bowser's Inside Story. I'm not sure if anybody remembers that game. That was a game that came out in 2009, and many people, a lot of people, there were some people that couldn't get the game finished. I couldn't even finish the game because the only part that made me piss was where you had to play a mini game. It's with Wiggler, and he tells you to eat the big ass carrot. And then that was pretty much it. That was the only time I got stuck, and then I gave up on the game, and then I ended up throwing the game away. And for anybody who's wondering, the same developers remade the game with better graphics and better voice acting and stuff like that. So, and unfortunately, the developer that developed both of those games went defunct just this last year. So, So, as for media, I'm gonna mention this one more time. Um, for media, I never knew about media until 2014. I never knew about YouTube until 2014. And the reason I knew about YouTube in 2014 was because I knew there was a website that had to do with sharing videos on. And around the same time, my mom pretty much knew about YouTube around 2010 till 2012. And I started YouTube in 2016, and when I was about 12 to 13 years old. And I'm going to be quitting YouTube in next year or so, which I'm not going to mention in this video at all. So, and for Skype, I never really started Skype until 2016, so it's about 4 years since I've used Skype. I don't really use Skype as much as I used to anymore, but I do have Skype for Business, which is weird because that comes with the Office suite for some reason. So, Twitter, Facebook, and a lot of different social media platforming. Those I didn't start until 2017. And pretty much to this day, I'm most likely inactive on them because I don't really post a lot of shit on those. I most likely am 100% active all the time on YouTube. Now, YouTube is one of my career choices for doing videos. As for right now, I am still planning on making more videos at this point. But you guys probably know I have not made a video since about 3 days ago. And I posted 2 new videos yesterday, but it didn't get a lot of attention from a lot of people. So I do apologize for that, guys. So yeah. Well, guys, it's pretty much going to be it for this video. Again, I do apologize for lack of videos. Anyways, guys, it's pretty much going to be it for this video. And I will see you guys in my next video. Goodbye, everybody.